broad that's running around bragging about getting raw dog, that little old ain't nothing but a cum bucket. I said, no, she a disgusting little old mother.
Y'all see me with a nigga? Y'all think I'm fucking. Like, can I just chill? Can I hang out? God, I'm a grown-ass gangster superhero. Leave me alone.
You gonna keep it gangster? When you gonna keep it bitch, that's what you did. You lied to me for 6 months.
If you've been anywhere near Twitter, TikTok, or Instagram over the past couple of days, you already know the internet has been set on fire again. And of course, the man holding the matches is none other than Charleston White. Charleston has made a name for himself as the internet's loudest shock jock, never holding back and always ready to stir up chaos. But this time, he might have taken things to an entirely new level. His latest target? Rapper Sexyy Red. He's not just throwing shade, he's dropping accusations, paperwork, and even tying her name to some of the biggest rappers in the game. The way Charleston framed it, this isn't just a diss, it's an expose. And now, the whole hip-hop community is watching and whispering. So what exactly happened? Charleston White went online, started talking reckless as usual, but then claimed he had proof that Sexyy Red was out here living exactly like she raps, wild, careless, and allegedly dangerous. According to him, he had her medical records, and what he waved around on camera had fans clutching their pearls. He claimed she had caught multiple infections, that she had passed them on to rappers she was connected with, and that the whole thing was way bigger than just one artist.
And what's crazy is I seen a video, I seen a video where she said her own was taken.
He went so far as to say she was spreading a spirit among young girls, the same way gangster rap once spread a destructive energy among young men. Now, Charleston is known for exaggerating, but this time, the way he presented it and the fact that he dropped specific names made people pause. The clip went viral instantly, with people replaying it again and again, trying to catch every detail of what he was holding up to the camera and every word he said. In Charleston's words, Sexyy Red wasn't just a rapper with a raunchy persona, she was reckless in real life, and the risks she was taking had consequences. He even zoomed in on photos of her, suggesting they showed signs of what he was talking about, and posted them with the caption, "I ain't lied yet." He tied the claims directly to her explicit lyrics, saying her lifestyle wasn't entertainment, it was reality.
But I said to myself, she looked like it get hot. It looked like it get funky in whatever room she f***ing in. It get hot.
The way he told it, the lyrics in her hit songs like Sexyy weren't just catchy, they were a reflection of how she was living day to day. And then he dropped the bomb, a list of rappers and entertainers who he claimed had been connected to her, suggesting that if his information was true, the ripple effect could stretch across the whole industry. That's where things exploded, because the names Charleston White threw out weren't small, they were some of the biggest in hip-hop and beyond. Drake, Chief Keef, Gucci Mane, Aiden Ross, Ray J, even Quavo. Each time he added a new name, social media went deeper into detective mode. Fans pulled up old club videos, screenshots of IG lives, and moments from interviews where Sexyy Red had casually hinted at her relationships. The speculation turned into a frenzy. One moment that had everybody talking was the old video of Drake and Sexyy Red at the club, sitting side by side with Drake's arm around her. He even posted a caption calling her his future wife, and she reposted it with, "I'm your favorite rapper's rapper." That moment, which fans once thought was just playful chemistry, suddenly looked like evidence. Then there was Chief Keef. Sexyy Red herself once called him her third baby daddy in a playful way, and even got into drama with King Von's sister over her ties to Keef. Put that next to Charleston's accusations, and fans felt like the dots were connecting a little too neatly. Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram timelines were filled with fans playing detective. Some insisted Charleston was lying just for clout, but others pointed to her past interviews where she admitted to catching chlamydia twice. Sexyy Red herself has never shied away from being blunt about her sex life. She once joked on IG about dealing with an STD and posted a meme about it, even turning it into a funny caption about being a fighter who took her meds. She's even sold lip gloss with names like gonorrhea and yellow discharge. At the time, fans thought it was her just being unfiltered and funny. But now, people are looking back at those moments in a completely different light. It's one thing to make a joke about infections. It's another thing entirely when someone like Charleston White pulls out paperwork and claims to have receipts. Fans online were divided into two camps. On one side, people were saying, this is too far. Charleston White has crossed the line by exposing private medical information. This is harassment, plain and simple. On the other side, there were fans saying, hold on, this isn't coming out of nowhere. She's admitted to some of this herself, and these dots are connecting too perfectly. That split reaction is what kept the story trending. Nobody could look away. Everybody had an opinion. Sexyy Red herself didn't stay silent. She jumped on Instagram to rant about how people twist every little thing into something bigger than it is. In her words, every time y'all see me with a dude, y'all think I'm smashing. Can I just chill? Can I hang out? I'm a grown-ass gangster superhero. Leave me alone. She made it clear she was sick of being dragged into rumors every time she appeared in a picture with a male rapper. But the timing of Charleston White's so-called receipts made her pushback feel like damage control to a lot of fans. People kept replaying her rants, looking for cracks in her tone, trying to decide if she was genuinely angry about lies or just nervous about the truth leaking out. And then came Adin Ross, yes, the streamer. An old clip resurfaced where Adin himself claimed he had been with Sexyy Red, even describing her as the dominant one in the bedroom. That clip blew up all over again, and Charleston's claims immediately got tied to it. Sexyy Red clapped back, firing off posts saying Adin had actually paid her to take his virginity, and that the whole story was exaggerated. But once again, the timing looked suspicious to fans. If Charleston was lying, why were all these random clips and old rumors lining up so perfectly? That was the question fueling the fire. Things got even messier when Sexyy Red's own baby daddy entered the conversation. He went online and accused her of burning rappers, flashing what looked like paperwork of his own. That moment sent the internet into a frenzy. But then, in a confusing twist, he backtracked later and said he never actually caught anything. That flip-flop made Charleston White's evidence look even stronger to fans, because unlike the bitter ex, Charleston wasn't backing down. He doubled down, even showing paperwork of his own, saying he never caught anything from her personally, but that he knew what he was talking about. At that point, the internet was exhausted, but also addicted to the drama. Every day, new clips, new names, and new fan theories kept piling onto the story, and Sexyy Red couldn't escape it. Her every move online was being dissected. Even something as small as her posting a picture in bed with a man whose foot showed an ankle monitor became part of the conspiracy. Fans immediately tried to tie the mystery man back to Charleston's accusations, saying he was part of the chain of partners she was allegedly connected to. What made Charleston White's accusations stick wasn't just the shock factor, it was the way he framed it as something bigger than Sexyy Red. He said this wasn't just about one woman's lifestyle. It was about how the music industry promotes certain images and narratives, especially among Black women, and how those images get used to create chaos and controversy for profit. Charleston claimed the industry wants artists like Sexyy Red to be in the spotlight because her messy, raw energy keeps people talking, keeps social media buzzing, and keeps the machine fed. In his words, "This ain't new. Black women been dragged for years by beauty standards and rap lyrics built on straight misogyny." But then he twisted it further, accusing the system of deliberately pushing artists like Sexyy Red as a way to normalize dysfunction. That angle made the story hit even harder, because suddenly it wasn't just gossip, it was social commentary. Fans who might have brushed off the claims as another Charleston White rant started asking themselves if he had a point. Is the industry exploiting Sexyy Red's persona? Is she in on the joke? Or is she being used as a scapegoat while everyone else profits? These questions added a layer of seriousness to what was originally just messy drama. Of course, not everyone was approaching it with seriousness. Lord Jamar jumped in and made things even spicier. He said Sexyy Red looked like the type of girl you walk into a room after her and immediately smell that somebody had been getting busy in there. He also reminded folks of the clip where Sexyy Red herself admitted her own hygiene wasn't always the best, saying at one point her stuff was stinking. Social media erupted with laughter, but at the same time, it fueled Charleston's narrative even more. Because when you stack Jamar's comments on top of Sexyy Red's own jokes about STDs, Charleston's paperwork suddenly looked less like trolling and more like confirmation. Fans online were caught between laughing at the memes and wondering if there was some truth behind the jokes. And that's the dangerous thing about gossip. It doesn't have to be proven for people to start believing it, especially when the person at the center has already admitted to some of the behavior in the past. By this point, fans weren't just focused on Sexyy Red, they were focused on the names Charleston White dropped. If even half of what he claimed was true, then the ripple effect could be massive. Drake, Chief Keef, Gucci Mane, Quavo, these aren't small names. They're some of the most influential figures in hip-hop. And if they were all connected through one person, the implications were wild.